Hi,
Hello, Yurisa.
Good evening, good evening.
good evening.
Good
Glad,
morning.
glad to see you. Glad to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Sorry for delay. Sorry for delay.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, when Irina ma'am told me that we will have meeting with Fatema, I was so happy that we have this
Yeah, I'm
meeting.
really happy to see you.
Yeah.
She's in
So
US in Texas right now. So now you go ahead. I already asked her a few questions. So you go ahead.
Fatema is DTMU's most bright and the best student. So she was the best in every academic aspect, in exams, in every aspect, every academic challenge which was set, she successfully completed. She got recognition from university and also scholarships. And Fatema is a bright example and best example of how education can give benefit to student. And every exam, every stage, at every stage, Fatema was succeeding. And probably very first question, which I want to ask you and want to ask you to share your some advices to upcoming generation of doctors. So how to start and how to succeed, at least to follow your footsteps. And Fatema is the student whose advices should be heard and should be listened. So please share some advices, and then step by step I have some more questions for you.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much, sir. What I would like to give as advice to my juniors is that you have to start right from the bottom. You have to start from the basics, and you have to have your basics done really well. And trust me, it's going to help you a lot in the future and all the coming years of your medical studies if you have your basics done really well. So whatever you do in your first 2 years of medical school, that's going to build a foundation for the rest of your life. And if you do that well, life will become simpler for you, because eventually everything comes back to conceptual knowledge. That is the basis of medicine for me, according to me. So yeah, that is my advice to them. And I would say that you have to find the right balance between academics and extracurricular activities. You need to build extracurricular interests like volunteer work or research, and that is what builds your personality, not just your academics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So Fatema, from your point of view, how do you think what is the strength of DTMU syllabus? So how it is helpful to clear FMG exams and USMLE exams? What you found useful or matching your goals?
Yes, so according to me, the syllabus which we complete in DTMU is very similar to the one which is tested on USMLEs. So we are always told to do the high yield things while we were in DTMU, and also the MCQ exam itself. It prepares us for all these exams. So we are, trust me, anyone graduating from DTMU is going to be really good with MCQ based exams, because we build a habit throughout 6 years. So it becomes easier to answer questions in that way. And moreover, as I said before, that the exams in DTMU are quite tough, and I think that they should remain tough, because it prepares you for the worst. And according to me, both FMG and USMLE seemed easier to me than DTMU quizzes. So I was out of the exams very confidently when I gave USMLEs and FMGE. And while on the other hand, when I used to come out of the exam during DTMU quiz, I used to think, okay, I don't know what just happened in there. But of course, the result used to be really good. So that is what I think. So yeah, whatever we study during our DTMU medical course, it of course it is similar to the things that were tested in those exams.
Fatema, I have a question. Every day, how many hours would you study in DTMU after your lectures?
Okay, so during the basic science years, I used to study like crazy. After the whole day we were just studying, besides eating and sleeping for maybe 5 to 6 hours. But because we studied really well during our basic years, it got really easier during the clinical years. So the number of hours that I studied during clinical years decreased because whatever I was studying during clinical years, I already knew the basics to it. It was just a sense of common sense that I had to apply to everything, to all the diseases, and the diagnosis and treatment would become really easier after that. So during the first 2 years, let's say I would study at least 12 hours a day. But eventually, during clinical years, it would be 6 hours, maybe 6 to 8 hours maximum.
12 hours includes hours of DTMU as well, isn't it?
No.
Oh my God.
It used to be really hard during the initial years.
Okay.
But yeah, but it of course it helped me.
Okay, and every group mate, classmate of yours studied like this?
Of course not. I mean, everybody has a different way to study.
She was best. She was best. She done better than anyone.
Everybody has their own techniques of studying and their own ways to memorize things. It was just how I studied that.
Okay, and you gave step 1 and step 2 where? In Armenia or elsewhere?
I gave my step 1 in Armenia, but I gave my step 2 in India.
In India. And then how did you go to US?
After my step 2, I applied for my visa, and I also tried to secure some observerships in the US. And after I got a confirmation from my observership, I could apply for my visa using the letter. And that is how I got my visa, and I came to US during May.
Okay.
Sorry, during April.
So, Fatema, regarding tests, because majority international exams are MCQ based,
Yes.
you mentioned that quizzes and tests helped you a lot, which are part of syllabus. What could you additionally advise how to prepare for test exams for those who are just now starting?
Okay, so what I would say is that you, of course, have to do your main textbooks, but along with that, try to find a book which is concise so that you can just review everything prior to the days of the test. You can annotate your review books with some important information from the main textbook, and then it will just become easier for you to revise. So for me, that book was First Aid. I used to use First Aid a lot during basic and clinical years, and that became my best friend during USMLEs. And since I had basic knowledge from all the main textbooks, also annotated on my First Aid, it became very easier to understand First Aid itself. So that was what my suggestion would be, that just have one concise review book along with you when you're doing your main textbooks, and just annotate everything in that review book and use it to revise for all your exams.
Okay. I have one more question about preparation for FMG and USMLE. Besides the DTMU syllabus, did you done any extra coaching, and how much coaching you required, or it was not much?
So for USMLEs, no, I did not do any extra coaching. I just used my first aid and the typical resources that everyone uses, UWorld and the NBMEs and all. But for FMGE, I used PrepLadder, and I bought the app because I just wanted to supplement my knowledge throughout clinical years using the lectures of PrepLadder. But when the time came to give FMGE, I felt quite prepared because I had been using the app for a year or so. So I could give FMG with a quick revision of all the lectures and the notes that I had from PrepLadder.
Okay, great. So your plans for next 1 year is to complete US residency registration process, yeah, and complete also.
Yeah, yes. This upcoming year, I will be applying and I will be doing the application.
You will clear USMLE 3 in August and then
Yes, and in August I have my USMLE Step 3 scheduled. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. That's good. That's great.
all the best to you.
Yeah, thank you. One more thing that I wanted to say about DTMU is that the USMLE journey is like very expensive, I would say, honestly. But DTMU has scholarships for all the students. So I personally, I got scholarships throughout my DTMU 5 years. And also upon that, DTMU gives scholarships for USMLE Step 1 and Step 2. So if we pass the selection exam for it with a particular module score, we are eligible for the scholarships. And so DTMU really helped me with that as well. So I'm thankful for that.
So one more question about every annual scholarship. So we may share it from our side, but as a student and graduate's opinion, how helpful it was and how you were getting scholarships. What was your plan and preparation and scholarship getting strategy?
So in order to get scholarship, we had to score above 90 or 91% in all our quizzes, and we should not have any kind of subject failure. So that way, I used to make sure that I studied hard enough for my normal DTMU quizzes. So at the end of the year, if your module score comes above 90 or 91%, you get a 50% scholarship. And I think if it comes above 97 or 98%, you can even score 100% scholarship where your entire fees is paid by the institute. And if you score above 85%, you even get a 25% scholarship. So there are these 3 kinds of scholarships that DTMU gives. And this is apart from the ones which are given only for USMLEs.
Fatema's advices and mentorship were used very efficiently by her cousin. Taha is also very bright student. He also follows your footsteps and is doing a great job. So he 100% uses your guidance and mentorship.
It's all him. It's all him. Yeah.
So Fatema is a student whose hard work should be recognized, and students should follow her advices, and wishing all students follow her guidance and do the same and succeed like Fatema.
I want to thank Yuri sir especially, because Yuri sir was guiding me throughout my journey. I mean, he was always a text away.
That was just a luxury to be in position to stay in touch with students. So many thanks.
If I had any issue, the number 1 name in my head would be to go to Yuri sir. I knew he would help me out any day. So thank you, Yuri sir.
My pleasure to be part of your journey. Fatema, one more question about faculty members. So you had the same faculty, or there were rotations and you had the exposure and the chance to interact with many clinicians and faculty members throughout 6 years.
So because DTMU does not have a hospital which is affiliated to the university itself, it's not just one hospital. What DTMU has is that there are affiliated doctors which work in a variety of hospitals all over Tbilisi. So we used to have rotations in multiple hospitals, and they used to be in different locations as well. So we used to get exposed to patients from all the different kind of hospitals. We would have a children hospital, we would have adult hospital, we would have geriatric population. Yeah, so all the faculties were different for most of the rotations.
There is approximately 30 hospitals affiliated. So due to healthcare system in Georgia, and because students have to get exposure to most number of patients. So and also I think interaction with different doctors in different units also helps to.
They had their own background of education as well. So
yeah, so to get broader exposure to different.
I would just like to add one more advice to the students, that please do learn Georgian during your initial years. Trust me, it's really going to help you in clinical years to communicate well and to build a good rapport with the patients. So don't take it lightly. Do learn Georgian when you can.
How difficult it is?
Sorry?
How difficult it is to learn Georgian, or is it easy?
I don't think it was that difficult. It was just that for me personally, I took it a bit lightly during my basic years, and I realized the importance of it while I was in the clinical years, and I had to use Google Translate to translate everything what the patient is saying. So it's quite easy if you can just give it some time and put some dedication into it and learn. And it's always going to be a plus for your CV. You being a foreigner, if you're going to learn a new language, and come on, anyone is going to ask you in the future when you say I studied from Georgia, they are going to ask you, do you know the local language? So it's really a plus point if you know Georgian.
Probably my last question, because I know biography of Fatema very well, and with pleasure sharing to every student and giving her name. Few words about Georgia. How do you think, how comfortable it is for international students to settle in Georgia?
I can talk like all day about Georgia. I consider Georgia as my second home country, and I love Georgia. I just love how peace, calm, and beautiful it is. And it is really very safe for us foreign students and for girls. And I never felt any kind of danger or any kind of anxiety, or when I was living there. And even the whole commute and the public transportation facilities and everything is very easy for you to travel there. Also, there are like, you get to see all seasons in Georgia. You get to see autumn, winter, summer, spring, and you get to see the mountains, you get to see the sea. I really enjoyed staying in Georgia, and I was so happy I could explore every part of Georgia that was in my capability.
So besides being good in
wait to visit Georgia again.
So besides being good in academics, you had some time to also travel.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you have to remove time for that as well. You have to find some entertainment to do, and trust me, the best thing you can do in Georgia is to travel around and to explore the city, because there is so much to see.
Looking forward to meet you also in Georgia. So once you will clear your exams,
again,
take vacation to travel to Georgia.
Thank you
I
so
have
much.
recommended
Thank you,
Georgia to
Fatima.
so many people today. I mean, over here in the US, I'm sure many people are going to visit Georgia.
So I am saying to everyone that Irina ma'am and Nikhil sir guided so many good students, and their efforts is huge, because many students, including you, followed Irina ma'am and Nikhil sir and their team, and followed to campus which was not yet completed. So now it is institutionally upgraded facility. So so we expect and we hope that many bright students and youngsters will be joining this year and will follow your footsteps, and we will be proudly sharing your advices and guidance to them. So
Yeah, I
thanks
wish
to Irina
everyone
ma'am,
all.
thanks to Nikhil sir, because
Ma'am.
they guided so many good students, and their guidance and advices are valuable. So I'm also thankful to them for bringing so many good students and guiding them to the right place, because DTMU is the place where students can learn and study if they are motivated to get high quality knowledge. So that's the right place.
Yeah.
And Fatema is an exemplary student whose example students should take and follow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. So we let you go now, Fatima. Thank you so much for taking out time for us.
Thank you for
Wish you all the
having me.
best and keep in
Thank
touch.
All the
Yes,
best
yes.
to you. Let's stay in
Thank
touch,
you,
and
sir.
please
Yeah,
keep
of
us
course.
updated about your success. And I'm sure a lot of good things are still awaited, and we will be with pleasure
Just need your
awaiting.
blessing, sir and ma'am.
Yes.
You are already blessed, and we will be praying for your success, and
Thank
we
you
will
so
be
much.
waiting all good news from you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, Fatima. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.